Thanks for tuning in, guys. Today we are going to be redoing one of my personal snake's cages. And this snake is my male boa constrictor that I named Molly prior to me knowing that it was a male a long time ago. He is 12 years old now. So yeah, we're going to redo the cage and we're going to show you the step-by-step process of how we do that. So I normally redo this 4x2 vision cage that he's in every 6 to 8 months, just because the dirt kind of gets a little old and I'm spot cleaning the cage, but it's good to completely redo everything, make it nice and clean. So we're going to take you through that process. All right, guys, so this is Molly, my male common boa. Like I said, he is 12 years old. He's actually really deep in shed right now, so this will be perfect for him to get a nice new environment. It'll be nice and moist and warm in there for him to get through the shed. And yeah, so this is Molly, my common boa. Okay, guys, so the substrate we're going to be using is a plantation soil, which is made by Exoterra, and then we're also going to be using a forest moss, also made by Exoterra, to create more of a humid environment for her, especially while she's in shed right now. All right, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shop vac all the old dirt out. I'm going to pull the glass so that we can clean the glass. I'm going to pull her old hide and the water bowl and the log that I have. We're going to do all this while new dirt is hydrating. Showed you before. So the hide needs to be cleaned. We'll put more climbing stuff for her.
Make it a better environment.
Alright, so we actually moved the 4x2 outside. The shop vac was just getting a little dusty inside the room we were in. So we're out here now. I'm going to shop vac the inside of this, wipe it out, clean it up, clean the glass. We're going to go check on the soil. Right now, Molly's actually in the pond. If you actually turn, she's actually getting out of the pond. She's over here by the pond. I've been letting her, especially while she's in shed, I'm letting her get her good soak in, let her move around. This is good enrichment for the animals, especially when they're normally inside their cage most of the day.
Now this is after cleaning it out, and next will just be arranging the environment.
Got a little more caked on dirt in the corners that we can get when we bring it back in, but she's pretty clean for now. Sprayed her down with some antibacterial stuff. Should be good to go. Alright guys, we're back in the room that this 4x2 sits in. First off, let's talk about lighting. So at the moment, I use two 75-watt nano domes on the top. Okay, so here's one that's already plugged in just for reference. These are nano domes. They come with little mini halogens on them. And then I also have a full spectrum light. It's a 48-inch T5 UVB. Snakes do not need UVB lighting. It's mainly for lizards, but this is just a great way to light the cage while also giving them some natural UVB light. Which is awesome. We always want to be able to give them the most naturalistic environment as possible. Now for a common boa, we're talking about something that's living in South America. It's a very humid climate, very tropical climate, and so I'm utilizing my dirt and my moss as my substrate that'll hold that moisture. And I'm also going to keep cork bark. So cork bark when wet doesn't mold like other woods. So I can keep this nice and wet. I can spray it down all the time, and I'll keep that humidity that I need inside the cage for the red-tailed boa. So let's get into it. So first I'm going to do dirt. Then I'm going to add my moss. And then we'll add extras to the cage to give her that enrichment. So I'm going to drop this in. We might need to go grab some more. Some more is still being prepared. So when I move through this, there should be some, and we'll spray this down because some of this was already prepared a few days ago and was dry. So it looks like I will need more dirt. That's totally fine. I got more coming up, but we can add our moss because we're going to do about a quarter of this substrate is going to be the moss. So let's start with that. We're just going to break it down because it was just dehydrated. And now I just hydrated it. So it needs to be broken down into smaller pieces, and then I will mix that in with the substrate, allowing to build that humidity needed to keep her environment somewhere between, I love it to be, 70 to 80% humidity, but most likely I'm shooting for around 60%. And I'll spray it down, which will kind of help add that humidity that I need. So I break that down, I add it in. I can definitely add more to it. So here's the rest of the moss I worked up. So yeah, I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab more dirt. We'll add that to it and then get into putting the cage together. Okay guys, so I got the rest of the dirt that we were preparing. It's nice and wet. I'm going to move that into the cage, break that up, have it in different spots, and I can always move things around as I go. I love having the dirt nice and wet just because when it is, I'm spraying it less and it's not going to take away from the humidity. It'll only add to it. So we had some over here. You can switch things in and out. Looking good, we're looking good. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna think about is the placement for my bowl. And so I'm going to place my bowl in the corner where I can reach it on a daily basis without disturbing the snake, like reaching all the way to the back of the cage. So that bowl is gonna go right here. I might move most of the substrate out, but I need it to be level. So I'll scoot some in there, and her bowl can sit right there. And guys, I always call her a her just because it's been about 10 years that I've had her prior to me understanding that she was actually a male. So when I say she, I mean he. It's just something that I've been doing for years. So yeah, so I call her a her. But yeah, so we got our bowl in place. I'll add water once we're done, just so that it doesn't get dirty while we're talking. Now, my hot side's over here, so I want to be able to make an elevated space for her to thermoregulate. And she's a decent sized snake, maybe 5 or so feet. So I'm going to look between these cork pieces I got, and I'm just going to play with it. Every time that someone is putting a cage together, especially something that's bigger than just a 40-gallon, you're really going to be working on placement prior to the animal getting in there. These cork pieces are pretty solid. Now, I don't want to go too far, but there we go. So yeah, she's a big snake, but she will utilize the space underneath as a hide. But now she's able to get a lot closer to the heat. And like I said, I'm going to have 2 nanos on here, 2 75-watt nanos. So that'll get nice and hot. This will probably get about 90 on her hot spot that she can sit up to. And if I notice that it's a little too close to the light and she's not using it as much, I'll probably pull this and put this flat on the ground. Now here's another piece. This would probably just be mainly an aesthetic looking piece. She probably won't utilize this side of the hide as much as others, but it'll add depth to your tank when you put things at different angles. So that's all I'm really doing there, is just adding some depth. Now in this box right here is a bunch of miscellaneous items that I've had over the years of acquiring people's animals, and they give me tanks and all sorts of random stuff. So this suction cup I could utilize, but she'll probably pull it down. But for now, we'll use it. I'm going to suction cup it to this back corner and kind of drape it over this log that I have here. Just get it a little wet. Probably spray it, to be honest. There you go. I'm going to suction cup it so you can't see the suction cup. Then we can still drape the plants. If we turn it properly, we'll drape the plants over, and I'll maybe tuck a leaf underneath the wool so it stays. Move this one over to the corner. And yeah, if she wants to, she can get on the cool side, and she'll probably get behind this. She might even pull this down, but for now, it looks good. It looks decent. From there, the rest of this I really don't need to utilize. I can put these here. And I might add these to the back, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this lining the back wall and coming forward. So that'll line over here, and I might honestly be able to use like a log or something to kind of keep it in place. So it'll kind of stick like that, and then I'll bring this down and I'll come out this way. I'm using the logs as weight to hold it in place. That piece might not stay. Let's see here. So yeah, when you're working with something as big as Molly is, which is about 5 foot, like I said, in a 4x2, you don't want to put a lot of stuff in here. You want to give her the room to really stretch out. And also, she's going to move things around. She's big enough that she will move these things all around. I'm sure in a couple days, I might see this log over here and vice versa. She just has the strength to push all this stuff. None of this is like, you know, buttoned down. So we'll probably stick with this. I'll get the glass cleaned and prepared and back on. I'll get the other light going, and we'll be good to go. All right, guys, so I got Molly with me. She's gonna go back into her little house. She's in shed, like I said. But yeah, she is a 12-year-old common boa. That's actually a male. And was my first ever snake as a pet. Kind of got me started in the hobby. It took me a long time to get my second, but once I had my second snake, it went from there, and now we have about 100 on the property. But this is Molly. Come on. Right underneath. A lot of iridescence coming off the snake while she's waiting to get into shed.
Oh, there she comes. Out the other side.
Nice.